You want any water?
I guess so, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
I guess
there's some water.
I haven't been drinking much today. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. You have one of those forms?
No, I read one. I did one.
My boyfriend called me on the way here. I didn't answer.
Who's your boyfriend?
Jason Williams.
Jason
Williams.
Make sure the door's shut.
He's just gonna make the. I'll explain that to
Okay.
you in just a second.
Okay.
Okay, Tracy. It is September the 4th and it is 18:30. And so you're Tracy Thompson, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's just get through this really quick. This is our confidentiality agreement. It basically states that we have to discuss the details of the case or what we've talked about in here. And it goes for us to, it stays here. So if you'll just read through it and just kind of fill out the your blocks. Do you understand what you're reading?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Today is the 4th, right?
Mhm.
Still. Okay. Basically, we called you in here because of the complaint that you went to Sergeant Anderson with, okay? And he brought in the Form 4 that you wrote and kind of detailing what had been going on. So basically, we just want you to let us know or talk to us about what happened that
Okay.
day. Okay?
Where, you want me to start from the beginning, like how I came to the hotel room, how we were at the hotel room with the female?
Sure.
That's-
Sure.
I wasn't on the traffic stop, so I can't even say how it happened, but I know that 2 officers met her on a traffic stop. It was Drayton and Soud, and I only knows because they told me. They met her on a traffic stop in November 1, I don't know where.
Mhm.
She's a white female, she's habitual. They said she was habitual and she had drugs on her. And they worked out a deal, basically where she said she could get drug dealers, turn them in and get them to sell her cocaine. And I don't know if it was the next day, I can't say exactly what day that was or how many days later.
That's fine, we're not gonna get into that.
But I guess during the day, somebody made arrangements with her. I doubled up with Cervone, I got in his passenger seat. Sal rode with Garza, and I think Drayton drove his own car. But we
Okay.
went over to Zone 2 first and drove around Plush, but we realized we couldn't do it there. There was nowhere, officer safety-wise, good to do it.
Okay.
So we met the girl, Ashley, behind a Kmart, I don't know where, on University, I think. She came with her boyfriend, who lives in November 1. He was in the driver's seat, he never got out of the car. She came and talked to us. She said she had a hotel room at the Days Inn on Cagle Road, which is at University 995 in Zone 3. I don't know if we decided right then to do it there, but at some point we determined we were going to do it there, and a couple of them were going to hide in the room and wait. And Sergeant Garza and I. So then I got into the driver's seat of Cervone's car, and Garza was in his car, and Sergeant Garza. And we went down the road just a bit, kind of to a couple office buildings, and we parked there where Sergeant Garza could see. I couldn't see the hotel, but he could. And they were kind of talking to us on the radio or a cell phone, telling him stuff. And she said, I guess she said one time he drove an SUV, but she didn't know for sure would he drive or if he'd come with anybody. But they told us when he was in the room. So Sergeant Garza and he pulled out first, and I pulled out behind him, and then we pulled in behind the suspect's car, which he had arrived in, and there was 3 people in it. So my attention was focused on them. I got the backseat left passenger out, and I used my handcuffs, and I handcuffed him to the bumper because I didn't have Cervone's key to unlock it. Cause
were you driving Cervone's car?
I was driving Cervone's car at that
Where
time.
was Cervone?
He was hiding in the bathroom with Sal. Both of them were in uniform.
So who was in the hotel room?
Sal and Cervone were hiding in the bathroom when the suspect arrived, and Drayton was...
I'm sorry.
Alright.
Sorry about that, I had to take it. Okay, where did we leave off? Who was in the hotel room?
We're
You
talking
guys
about
said
who was in the bathroom.
Okay. So
I don't know what they
Saud and Cervone were in the hotel room.
Yeah, and
Where was Drayton?
he was in like civilian clothes.
Okay.
I guess he was sitting in the room. This is just what.
He was in the hotel room
Yeah,
too
but
then?
all 3 of those
Okay.
officers were up there.
Okay. Was he the only one in civilian clothes?
Of the officers, yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I got the backseat passenger out first. I handcuffed him. I can only carry 1 handcuff. I don't have room, but so I handcuffed him to the bumper, and then I got the driver out, and I handcuffed him to the bumper as well. And there was another backseat passenger on the right hand side behind that seat. Somebody got him out, because by then I don't know if anybody had come down from upstairs. I don't remember if it was Sergeant Garza who handed me, but I didn't have any more handcuffs, so I held on to him until Cervone unlocked the car. And I'm pretty sure I placed him in the back seat on handcuff because I'd searched him, so we do that sometimes. Somebody brought down the suspect, and if I did see him, I just didn't pay attention to him, but he was then put in the back seat with that other guy. And
In Cervone's car?
In Cervone's car.
Okay.
I stayed outside. I never went in the hotel room. I gathered their information, the 3, actually all 4 of them, ran them all for warrants. And
You did? You ran them
I
for
ran
warrants in
the 3
Cervone's car?
In Cervone's car
Okay.
from his computer.
Under his login or your login? Was he?
Probably under his log. I don't think
He was logged in?
he was logged in at e-warrants, and I think I ran him on master name
Okay.
index and NCIC.
Okay.
And at some point, I was standing outside of Cervone's car, and the suspect's car was properly parked facing the hotel, the front end. And I heard that they said the suspect fought a lot, and he bit Cervone on the arm. It was either there or there, but it was on like this part of his arm. And I looked at it. It was a really small bite mark. and I heard
How small? You're saying you're
like,
doing this.
like it wasn't there the next day. It was like
Okay. How was it
like that
that
wide, like
night?
a fingernail wide. It didn't look like a bite.
Okay.
I mean, Ron said it didn't hurt.
Okay.
And then I saw Sergeant Garza walk past me, and he opened up the rear door, the right rear door, where that suspect from upstairs was sitting, and he leaned his body in, and I heard him yelling something. I don't remember what he said, but he was leaning into the car. But at that,
Sergeant Garza.
Sergeant Garza. And at that point, I had turned around and I was at the suspect vehicle searching it.
Okay. Where was Servone when Garza was yelling?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know Sal was standing next to me.
Okay.
I don't know where Servone and Drayton were when Sergeant Garza opened up that door
Okay.
and went into the car. I don't know where
Okay.
they were. At some point later on, I never went, like I said, I never went upstairs. I was still outside. I heard somebody say, "We need to call rescue. The suspect hit his head on some furniture." I think Officer Sal possibly on you to call the MDC and then call for rescue. I don't know, because I was on Alpha 14 on my portable, so I wasn't on Alpha 3. So I never heard the call go out. Sergeant Garza started rushing us a lot and saying, "Tracy, you're taking the drugs to the property room. Servone, get Tracy's car keys, because you're going to get her car from the stop station when we get back. Drayton, you're taking the suspect down, do the docket. Let's go, let's go, let's go." So Drayton took the suspect out of Servone's back seat. At some point we had to release those 3 guys, the one from the back seat and the 2 on the bumper, when I realized they were 77. I don't know if they took the car. I think we seized it. I can't remember, but they left. So Drayton took the guy out from Servone's car and placed him in his back seat. And as I was leaving, rescue was there, but I didn't see the rescue talk or anything. I took the drugs to the property room, and I guess Drayton called me or sent me an MDC and said, or maybe he didn't send me an MDC because I was Servone's car. He said, "Can you come to meet me at the jail and just help me with something?" I met him on Forsyth Street in front of the PMB, and he asked me if I would ran as a suspect and question him was why he was coming to the Days Inn. So I opened up the back door and he was laying, like his feet were laying out towards me as I opened up the right door, and his back was on the thing. He was wearing a white beater style tank top, and it was covered with blood, like down to there. And he had a white bandage. And I advised him his rights, and I asked him what he was doing in the Days Inn. He said that he brought his fellas there to sleep with that girl, and I asked him if he had drugs, and he said he didn't. And I didn't question him any further. I shut the door. I stayed for a bit with Drayton. He didn't know how to do bolio, how you do the law enforcement, so I helped him with that. And then I left. And I think I even mentioned him. I said he's probably gonna have to get staples because it looked bad.
Where was it? Where was the cut?
I don't know. I never saw it.
Okay.
I just saw the bandage
That he was already
on his
bandaged.
head.
Okay. Was that the bandage that
I guess the rescue
put on?
did. I guess so. Because at that point he had not even been, the docket hadn't even been sent yet. I guess I went home at that point. I think it was towards the end of our shift. We get it done at like 1:25. I went home, and the next day we were kind of coming in at 2, but not really starting until 4. But Sergeant Garza sent me a message around 1:50 saying, "We're going to go to Larry's if you want to come." So I met him at Larry's, and Ryan Johnson in Riverside. Ryan Johnson and Sal showed up, and we were just sitting at his table watching, I guess, ESPN and talking, and I heard conversation I started listening to but not really paying attention to because I was watching TV. I heard them talking about his portable radio. They were making jokes about blood being on it or cracks or something, or trying to, and getting rid of it and just saying you lost it. Just say you lost it. I didn't know what they were talking about, but I started wondering and feeling weird. And so later in the afternoon we were doing a traffic deployment, and I knew that Servone might know more than I do, so I just wanted to know what happened. I asked Servone, I said, "Servone, what happened last night?"
This was, the day after.
Yeah, I said, "Servone, what happened last night?" He said, "Garza hit the suspect in his head with his portable radio, and he had to get staples in his head."
Okay. How did Servone know that?
He didn't tell me, and I didn't ask him anything. I don't know if one of the guys, because Ryan Johnson was not there at the hotel room, but somehow he knew about it, or he knew about the portable radio because they were joking about it.
Okay.
And so they're all a little bit tighter than I am. I'm not officially on their squad. They've been a squad for a while. So I don't know if, they talked about it on the phone and told him or not.
Okay. Did Servone tell you about Drayton's phone call the night before?
Which, oh, to the female, or?
No, to him. Apparently Drayton called Servone. Do you know anything about that?
No.
Around 3 o'clock in the morning to talk about what happened?
One day we were at, this was after I found out,
Mm-hmm.
we were sitting at the stop station at 21st and Myrtle, and I think somebody mentioned it, but they didn't say about that thing. I said I can't sleep about it, and Drayton said, you can't sleep. I called Servone at 4 in the morning that night. So I didn't know about it that night, but even that night I did. I felt something was weird.
Okay. So Drayton tells you, so you guys are obviously feeling bad about the whole thing and how it all happened.
Yeah.
And Drayton says to you, you know, yeah, I'm pretty much stressed out about it too because I called Servone. Did he tell you, did he elaborate on that
No.
conversation at all?
There was a couple of us sitting there. I believe Servone was sitting there and Drayton was sitting there. We sit there all the time.
Okay.
When I went to the jail and met him, Drayton, he didn't seem himself. But Garza
Did he elaborate? I mean, did he elaborate on
The phone call,
what
or-
was, no, just the whole, what did Garza direct him to do that he
No.
was so nervous about?
No, if he did, I don't remember.
Did Drayton witness, or did he say anything about seeing Garza hitting him?
I never asked him.
He didn't say? And he
I
didn't
ask
say?
him. No.
Okay. So he was having trouble writing the 88 report,
It seemed
the
like it.
polio.
Yeah.
Okay. And did he not know that he needed to interview Servone to find out exactly how he was 88'd? I mean,
I don't know.
where did he get the details to write the reports, what I'm getting at?
Well, he was up in the room when they arrested when they put the suspect in handcuffs. So I guess he knows how that part went down.
Okay.
I don't.
And when he was bitten and how he
Yeah.
was bitten and, okay.
I know, I read the docket and I saw my name was listed as number 2, but I didn't write any of it.
Why would you be listed as number 2 then?
I don't know, we do that.
Okay.
We do, we put each other's number 2 all the time.
You do know that by putting yourself as number 2, you're basically saying that you had a hand in writing that report.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So you guys need to get out of that habit. Unless you're part of that particular case, I wouldn't do it.
We just usually
Don't
do
you
it
agree?
to give somebody like a stat, I guess, like when you're working together, because I had taken the drugs to the property room and met him down there, I don't know. But you just put my name in when I was standing there next to him.
Okay. Let me ask you something about the blood on the t-shirts. Because you said when you went, where was he writing the report at the back door? At the Sally Port?
Parked on Forsyth, I think it's Forsyth.
Yeah.
Right there where all those officers park, kind of like just past ID.
Okay. So that's where you met him, and
Yeah.
that's where you saw that the
Yeah.
suspect had blood on his shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Did he look like that when he came out of the apartment?
I didn't see him. I probably would have noticed it, but I didn't see him, so I can't say for sure if I saw him on the corner of my eye or.
Okay. Was it bad enough where it would have drawn your attention?
It was a lot of blood. I believe it would have drawn my attention had I seen him.
Okay. Especially after they're saying that they had to fight him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm not trying to get you to remember things that you don't remember. If you don't remember seeing him, you just don't remember seeing him. I'm just trying to figure out, was he that bloody when he came out of the apartment? Was he that bloody when he was sitting in the backseat of Servone's car?
My back was to him when I was running people, and I can't put all the pieces together.
So you're basically in the front seat and he's behind you.
I've tried to remember, but I can't put all the pieces together when I ran them and when
I got you.
I believe it happened.
Did he, while he was sitting in the backseat of the car, was he saying anything? I mean, was he complaining about pain or his head
Earlier,
hurting?
and I don't remember when it was, but he was yelling at one of the other subjects that was in the front, Brandon, get my phone. That's all he was really saying.
Okay. Did he ever say my head hurts or
Not to me.
Any complaints about being injured, pain? I need you to check me out. I mean,
No.
anything that would
I didn't
be normal for a person
Yeah,
that
I know.
doesn't feel good.
I don't remember.
Okay. I mean, if he would have said that, you would have read it,
Yes.
obviously.
I would have looked.
Okay. And Servone was not there when he was sitting in the backseat of your car?
I don't think so.
Do you remember seeing Servone anymore after?
Servone was down in the parking lot at some point, but I know they were up and down from the room because I guess he dropped the drugs when he was up there. I don't know for sure.
Was Servone there when rescue showed up? still?
No, I think he left in Garza's car, Sergeant Garza's car with Sal, and those three left together.
And they left to go where?
I think back to Zone 5, because they dropped Cervone off at my car. Cervone had my car,
Okay.
and we had to switch cars later in the night.
Did you check the back seat of Cervone's car when both suspects were taken from back there?
No,
You didn't check it at all?
no,
Did anybody check it?
I don't know. I can't, you'd have to ask
I'm
Officer
asking for
Cervone.
blood.
I know, but,
Did you notice any blood, anything strange back there? Well, I guess if you
because
check
I
the back seat.
didn't really know he was bloody until later, and I didn't have Cervone's car.
Okay. So you've got, and I know we're rushing through it, and we'll get back and get some more details,
Okay.
but so now he's gone with Drayton. Rescue's already come, checked the guy out. Drayton's gone with the suspect. How does Cervone get his car back?
I met him at 640 Stockton, I think
Okay.
after I left there, I guess. Because I did it
Before
that night.
before you met with Drayton, or
I don't remember.
okay,
I did meet him at 640 Stockton to get my car back.
and you guys basically just swapped cars.
Yeah,
Okay. Any conversation about what happened?
I don't remember. I don't
Okay.
think so.
Okay.
It doesn't stick out.
No. And you don't remember if that was before or after meeting Drayton on Forsyth? Well, how did you get to
Not
Drayton?
really. I drove a car. I just can't remember which one. I can't remember which one. I know I went straight from the hotel room to the property room, and I was in Cervone's car at that point.
Okay. So to the at least
I
on
drove
your way to the
Cervone's car
property room you had it.
Yes.
Okay.
And I feel like I went there right to Drayton right from there, and then I went to, then I must have gone to 640, but I can't say 100%.
Okay. But it was the next day that you had a conversation with Cervone and you asked him what happened, and he told you.
That Sergeant Garza hit him in the head with his portable radio,
Okay.
and he had to get staples.
But he didn't say where that came from or that he saw it or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Has anybody else talked to you about that? About what happened that night?
Everyone's kind of been talking about it a little bit. Like, I know there's a couple of people that weren't there, and I know Savage and Lisa weren't. I don't know if Savage knows what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I know Lisa Benton doesn't, because I remember her when she came back. We all were just sitting there, again, it's the stop station, and we said, man, you should be glad you weren't here. Somebody said, like, we're not going to tell you what happened. We don't, it was bad. But we haven't, no one's outright said, like, what he did.
Okay. Did they ask what happened or what?
Lisa said she didn't want to know.
Okay. Who was talking about it, do you remember?
Probably Drayton, me, and Cervone.
How does Cervone feel about the whole thing?
He's really stressed about it too.
Why is he so stressed about it?
He just, he hates being on, this is just what he's told me, he doesn't like being on that squad, that Sergeant Garza's mean to everybody all the time, constantly screaming at everybody, so that's one thing, and he's told me he's losing hair, and
Cervone's told you
yeah.
that? Has Garza ever said anything to you guys about when things don't go quite right? That this is how we're gonna say it happened?
Not really, but I remember, I think it was the next day, later in the day, I think we were at 640 Stockton again, and he said, whose turn is it to do the use of force report? And he said, Cervone, you did it last time, Saud, it's your turn. And later at the end of the shift, we were at sub 5, and Saud was doing the use of force report, and we were sitting in the room.
That same night?
I think it was the second night.
Second night, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't the night of the incident, it was the second night, and he had Saud, I didn't hear them talk about it, but he told Saud to do the use of force report, so Saud was typing that up. And they pulled up the JPIGS picture, and Sergeant Anderson was in there, But I was listening to a conversation about tackier, but then I heard Sergeant Garza talking about the picture.
What did he say to you?
Just kind of making fun of him, fun of the picture, because he had the JPEG's picture. He's covered again in white gauze.
Mm-hmm. As far as Soud goes and writing the use of force report, where did he get his information to write the use of force report?
I don't know. He might have used that.
Okay.
He was sitting at the desk. I didn't really.
Have you read it? Have you read the use of force report?
No, I don't know how to.
Okay. How close are you to Soud? I mean, does he talk to you about stuff?
No, not really. Honestly, we're not. I don't like him that much.
Has Servone talked to you about the use of force report and what was written in it,
No.
or how it came to be, or
No,
what he was directed to do, or any talk about that?
No.
When was Larry's Giant Subs lunch meeting?
The day after.
The day after?
That was the very next day,
Okay.
around 2 p.m.
Did you hear Garza making fun of it at that point, or?
Talking about
what
his
was-
portable radio, like,
Garza was
was.
talking about his portable radio,
Yes.
saying that it was what?
like, or I think maybe Ryan said maybe you need to lose it, pretend like you lost it and throw it in the river.
Okay. Ryan.
But I was watching TVs and I
Which
didn't
one
know
is
what
Ryan?
Ryan Johnson. He's on the squad, but he was
Okay.
not there that day.
Okay.
Sorry, I use people's first names and some people's
That's
last
fine.
names.
And that's why I wanna make sure I know who you're talking to, so this is Ryan Johnson. Told him, said maybe you should just lose it.
Yeah. Or wrap it in tape or something.
What do you remember Garza saying about it?
He was talking about it too, but I can't remember the statements he made.
Okay. Did you hear them saying anything about, cause at this point they hadn't sat down to do the use of force report yet, had they?
No, that was done later in that shift. of
Any
that day.
conversation about how we're gonna write the use of force, or who's
No.
gonna write the use of force, or?
I think that was done later at 640 Stockton. We were standing around the Coke cans, and I'm pretty sure that's when he said who's going to write it. I think it's Sal's turn because Tyrone wrote the last one.
Okay. And you didn't hear Garza giving him any direction on how he was gonna?
I mean, they
write it?
did talk more time, like later they'd be like, oh, he hit his head, that's some really sharp furniture up there. It's really close quarters and he fought a lot, he hit his head.
Okay. That's all the details you have about, how he supposedly got this injury to his head?
That's all I know about how that
Okay.
happened.
Did Servone have any conversation with you about how he could have possibly sustained that
No.
injury to his head?
I didn't outright ask Tyrone if the suspect had hit his head on furniture, but when Tyrone told me that he got the injury from Garza using it, I know that it didn't happen. Tyrone wouldn't lie to me. I don't think.
What did you just say?
If he had hurt his head on furniture, Tyrone would have told me that when I said what happened last night. But
He would have said.
he would have said he hit his head on furniture.
Okay, but that's not what he
No, he
gave
told-
you as an answer.
Yes.
He gave you.
The portable that Sergeant Garza used the portable radio.
Okay. So in any of your conversations with Servone, was his head hitting the furniture ever given to you as a reason why he sustained that injury?
With
From
Servone?
Servone, with
No,
Servone.
never.
Okay. Did he ever elaborate about how bad the fight was inside the hotel room?
No.
Or, I mean,
A lot of time, no, he just, to me, the way they made it sound is just like a lot of people resist, they fight a little bit and you put them in handcuffs and it's over.
so it didn't seem to
It
be
didn't
like it
seem
was a major fight.
like one of the worst ever, it just seemed like a normal resisting arrest.
Okay.
But then he did bite him.
Okay. Were you down there when Servone told Garza that he had been bitten by the suspect?
Servone told me, and I don't know where Garza was standing, but Servone told me and showed me his arm.
So shortly after it happened, or
Yeah.
had he been still?
It was all pretty quickly after we had gotten, or I detained those three. They started coming down
Okay.
from the hotel room.
And tell me again how big the bite was.
It was, I would say the width is about a fingernail width. To me, that's how it looked.
Just one mark?
Yes.
I mean, not, you know how when...
Not like a
when you're
mouth.
Right.
It
It
looked
didn't
like
look
a
that way?
tooth, like one tooth.
Okay. Was it red? Was it swollen?
It was
Anything?
like not swollen, it looked like just a red indentation, excuse me.
Okay. Any blood on it?
No,
Okay.
but he did go to Baptist, I think.
Okay. Do you know what time he went to bed?
He went that day, but I think they couldn't see him, and I think he went the beginning of the next shift while we were eating lunch to get a shot because he hadn't had hepatitis, I guess. That's what he told me.
Did he complain about any pain?
No, it was away the next day.
Okay.
Couldn't see it.
But he did go to the hospital that night.
Pretty
That you
sure.
know of.
That I know of. I'm pretty sure he went to Baptist.
Okay. Is there any reason why Servone would say that he doesn't know anything